I'm Becky Banks. I'm a senior digital marketing strategist here at Oozle Media, and I've definitely written quite a bit over the years. I've been at Oozle for a little over 3 years, just worked my way from the bottom up because we are very big on growth here, and it's really cool. So, yeah, now that all that's out of the way, again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I do have it open. Hopefully I will remember to look at it, but we'll find out. So, starting. This whole webinar is about content. So at Oozle Media, that's a lot of things. It's blogs, it's website copy, it's infographics, it's everything. As we say here at Oozle Media, about 90% of SEO is content, but the biggest problems I've seen are that people don't know what to write and they don't know how to write. While it may take a little bit of effort and learning, I firmly believe that anyone can learn how to write, but knowing what to write about can leave people a little stuck because it takes a lot of time to be able to generate good content. So if you want to build a good content strategy, I believe there are 3 steps. You have to answer common questions your audience might have, provide valuable information that inspires and educates, and set an expectation of what's going to happen next. Because you should be finding and answering the questions your audience has before they've even called you. Think about the last time that you thought about buying something or making an investment. What convinced you to purchase the product or invest in the service? I know for me, I want to know exactly what the service is, what to expect when I get in touch with the company, and what will happen if I have concerns or if something goes wrong. And all of these really encapsulate these 3 elements. If you're not informing and educating your audience, especially in your blog, you're probably missing out on some valuable phone calls. In fact, companies with blogs tend to get 67% more leads than those who don't. I think one thing that I want to point out is that a blog not only helps those who haven't called or filled out a form, they can help anyone. They can help inform people about your school if they've never called, if they called your school 6 months ago, or even if they called yesterday, or if they've called you and are still kind of on the fence. Especially in the beauty school market, something to consider is that even for those who do choose to get in touch with your school, they might not be as ready to enroll because they don't know if your school is the right one for them. It's a big investment after all. So to build that trust with potential students, you should be answering their questions in blogs, in videos, in social media posts, and so much more. But the first step is to figure out what questions your target audience wants answered. So, how do you come up with blog topics? How do you gather the most commonly asked questions? What's really cool about this is you don't have to be an SEO expert to be able to know what you should or shouldn't be answering. Really, it's just a matter of, it's not how you find them, it's that you are finding them. So the first method that we recommend, talk to your team. Talk to your admissions team, talk to your sales representatives, talk to people who are actively talking to a potential customer, student, whatever on the phone. If people are calling your school and they're asking, what programs do you offer? How long does each program take? How do I apply for financial aid? How do I schedule a tour? That means you don't have good enough answers to these questions on your website, your social media accounts, or anywhere people are finding your business. So ask the people who talk on the phone what questions they answer the most, then make sure the answers to those questions are accessible everywhere. You could put an FAQ of the most common questions on your website, or you could make your program pages more robust. You shouldn't be hiding what you can learn in your program, how much your program costs, and why someone should enroll in your program behind a phone call. Make it possible for someone to get the information they're looking for before they've called you. People want transparency. If you want people to enroll, you shouldn't be hiding the information they need to decide your school's the one. People are going to start making the decision of where they want to go to school on the first interaction they've had with your brand. So equip them with the knowledge they need to make an informed decision, no matter where or when that interaction takes place. Now, while talking to your staff doesn't provide actual numbers, you don't get monthly search volume of how many people are asking these questions per month, but it does generate questions that are specific to your business, which can have the biggest impact on your results. Another benefit of using this method to find questions that you can ask is that you can ask your admissions team how they answer those questions. By answering those questions in the exact same way as your admissions team, it creates a more cohesive experience, so there's no confusion between what they read online and what your admissions team is telling them. So there's one. It's really easy. It doesn't take any extra stuff. It's what you already have. Now, the next is something that we specialize in, especially, is that we use paid keyword research tools. So essentially, these are the things that are not free, like Moz or SEMrush or Ahrefs. These are the things that any self-proclaimed SEO expert should know how to use. So we often use, especially Moz's Keyword Explorer, to do some keyword research. And this tool allows us to start with the most basic keyword, such as maybe cosmetology, and then you can filter out those searches to find things that are more relevant to you. So from this simple search, I can safely assume that some valuable topics to write about is what is cosmetology, which has 785 searches per month. How long is cosmetology school? Around roughly 598 searches per month. And what is a cosmetologist, which is about 383 searches per month. These are all valid topics we should be writing about, creating videos on, sending out in an email, or posting on social media. This does provide an actual number of the average searches per month, so you can write things about what people are actually asking instead of what you think people are asking. So we use Moz especially quite a bit because it also has a number of other tools and resources. So in this screenshot in particular, I could filter it out by just questions, but you can also do it on similar topics. You can exclude your keyword. It's very useful as a generator as well as to essentially double check what you're thinking. And then there are other tools that you can use, and some are actually free. Like Google Search Console, you can figure out what your site is currently ranking for, what kind of questions that your site is showing up for. And we've definitely created a guide to Google Search Console a while back. So if you want a copy, feel free to reach out to us. And then the other thing is that there are also a number of other tools that are popping up. Like you can use Answer the Public, which is also free. Or there's this new one called Topic that essentially pulls a number of ideas from the next way that you can find topics, which is what I'll cover here. So the third way is another free method, is you can use Google. Surprise, you can use Google to find questions people are asking, because Google wants to be useful, because if it's not a useful product, then people won't use it. So Google provides a number of features that are gold mines for information, and you don't have to pay anything for this. Start typing a question and then see what starts to pop up. So not only this, but you can also figure out what formats. So in this example, I started trying to type signs you should go to cosmetology school. Something that was very interesting is that it came up with signs you should go to cosmetology school quiz, signs you should go to cosmetology school Reddit. So that's someone actually looking for a forum so that it's actual people answering that question. For those who are in certain states, signs you should go to a cosmetology school in Texas, or signs you should go to a cosmetology school in California. Making them more specific might get more, while there might not be as much search, it's going to be more valuable because it's more relevant to your audience. Now, the next step is when you actually search the question. So if you search a common question, like what is cosmetology, you'll see some more useful information you can use to generate questions you can answer. So something that pops up on this is a people also ask box. Now, these are questions that are being searched, I just read this morning, it was just this morning, that I read a statistic that said about 88% of searches have a people also ask box. Crazy. And then you can use these as related topics. You can use them as entirely new topics. In fact, you can even use them in a way to organize your blog if they're related enough. So something is that you should always focus on one topic per content piece. And so these are all just really good ideas, like writing, what does a cosmetologist do, or is a cosmetologist a good career? What skills do you need for a cosmetology? These are all amazing questions that someone could be asking that you can write about. Now, the other trick that I don't have shown here is that once you do the search, you can look and see what's currently ranking. It's hard to figure out what makes good content, but it's so useful to be figuring out what types of blogs other people are writing about. You can figure out how they organize their writing, see if people are interacting with the blog in the comments, or check out any images or infographics they're writing. I firmly believe that most of marketing is essentially figuring out what your competitors are doing and then doing it better. So when you write your own content around the same topics, you can think about the elements they are missing that you could add to it to make it a better answer than what's currently ranking. And we'll be talking a little bit more about this later. Now, the other thing that you can do with these people ask boxes is go down the rabbit hole. So if you click on the box, it'll populate more and more questions. And now this is really cool, and it can take a lot of time because it essentially can give you some new angles or some new feel on not even just what the topics are, maybe how people feel about it. Because it's very interesting that there's a question that are, what are the disadvantages of being a cosmetologist? But then you can always search and see, okay, but are people also looking for the advantages? So always be thinking of ways that you can take what it gives you and transform it into a new piece. And then you can always double check by just searching what your idea is and seeing what pops up. If you have an idea and you search for it and the answers it's giving you don't seem to make sense, you might want to either rethink of how you phrase the topic or pick a new topic entirely. Then once that you have all of your topics picked out, it's time to do the second half, which is something that we're really, really working hard to develop at Oozle, to be able to essentially tell at a glance what content someone needs, what they need to remove, and how you can use that content. So you start building your content map. So once you have that list of commonly asked questions, you can create some type of visual document or spreadsheet. A visual element, again, can help you see at a glance what type of content you might be missing, or even what you've written before and didn't realize you had already written. Because you don't want two blogs on the same topic. So especially for beauty schools, you have a variety of programs. You have cosmetology, aesthetics, you might have massage therapy, you might have barbering. What's really cool is there's a lot of overlap. So essentially you can start taking what they have in common and transform them a little bit. So you can pull out the common themes that you are seeing. These are going to be the what is this, what is this, or what is this, how do you do this thing, where can you work? Like, these are the common questions and they're relevant to each and every program. So for example, you can change what is a cosmetologist to what is an esthetician. You can change what do cosmetologists do to what do estheticians do. How do you become a cosmetologist to how do you become an esthetician? And by finding these similarities, it makes it very easy to create a more visual element. And I'll go a little bit further. I forgot the other step to this. So from here, now you have your list of questions. The next step actually is to figure out what platforms you want to put your content on. So at Oozle Media, we very, very focus on essentially creating stuff around everything. So not everyone is going to resonate with a blog. They might resonate better with a video. Some might need to have the email pop up in their inbox, or some people might want like a free download that's like a complete guide to beauty school. Or you might have someone who wants to do Instagram story highlights. So essentially the most common ones that I've got here are blogs, email, video, pinned Instagram story highlights, website copy, ebooks, infographics. And now once you have those, the next step is to build the visual element. So you can do this however you want. You can build a spreadsheet, you can do it in a Google Doc. I found that it's useful to organize it this way because you don't have a lot of overlap. So the way that you can read this is that I've got the common topics at the top. That's what is it, what do you learn? So you can read those as what is cosmetology, what do you do as a cosmetologist, what can you learn as a cosmetologist. I also have program comparison. These are really cool ones that you might find in your topic research where you might think about who your audience is, where they're like, okay, I know I want to go to beauty school, but I'm not sure what program. So you can do some really cool visual elements that are program comparisons where you compare cosmetology versus aesthetics. Or if you have more specialized programs, you can do esthetician versus master esthetician. Essentially, it's just another element of things you can think about. You can also do how long does it take to become a cosmetologist? How long does it take to become an esthetician? And then so on those top, you have the topics. And then on the left side, you have all the different formats. So for example, in this example, I could send out the What is Cosmetology blog in an email. I could make sure that I have a pinned highlight on my Instagram account that talks about what you can learn as a cosmetologist. I can make sure that my program page has content around what a cosmetologist is and what they can learn especially. I might be able to create an infographic on how to become a cosmetologist. So these are all essentially the different formats that I can take a base, which I usually think of the blog as the base, and then repurpose and reuse. But the question, of course, is how do you reuse, repurpose, and most importantly, promote your content? So this is something where you have to think about your audience. For example, someone might learn about you on your Instagram profile, but never actually make it to your website. Someone might read a blog, but never make it to a program page. So the whole purpose is that you can reuse and repurpose your content to answer any questions someone might have without having to rely on a conversion-oriented web page. So I have a few ideas, but of course, the sky is the limit because marketing is always about creativity, coming up with new ideas, coming up with new ways to come up with things. But these are kind of some of my favorites that we've been pushing pretty hard at Oozle Media. So the first is to create Instagram stories and infographics that you can then put on your site as infographics on a related blog. So the beauty of good Instagram story pin highlights is that they can provide the information that people would find on your website without even having to leave Instagram. So that Instagram highlight could include what your program offers, how long it takes to complete, and how to enroll. But that Instagram highlight, that designed element, doesn't have to just be on Instagram. The same design could also live as an infographic on your blog. So that covers the same information, but then you can have more written text that goes more into depth and answers more questions. It could also be sent out as an email as part of a drip campaign. So say that somebody decided to fill out the form because they want more information, but they're not sure about the next steps. If you create an Instagram story highlight about what to expect on your tour and then send that in the email, they might open that email and say, okay, I feel more comfortable and confident going back to that original strategy of setting the expectation of what happens next. So now you can essentially nurture those who might think about becoming a student to actually becoming a student. So the next step is put your blogs on social media. So we do have a general rule that you shouldn't just be pushing sales and sales and sales on your social media accounts. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be showing and showcasing some useful information that someone might want to know about your school before enrolling. So the trick here is that you should always have a strategy to get people to your content instead of just hoping that your content makes it in front of them. So push your blogs on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. I know Later has an amazing tool that you can do a link in bio, which allows you to easily link your blogs for someone to get to straight from the profile. And then once you get them on, put money behind those posts to get them in front of more people. A good social ads department can make sure that you're getting your blog in front of people who actually want to learn more. Now, the thing about creating this content is you're not being intrusive, you're not being invasive, you're not getting in their face, you're providing information that they would want to know. And then sometimes people don't know to look for it, so we're getting it in front of them when they want it. So this can not only get more people to your site, it can build your brand authority too. Because once people found their blog, they'll be like, oh yeah, I remember reading that online. It was very interesting because a few days ago, I was talking to my parents, and my dad was talking about how he had read something online, and he was reading a blog, and he's like, oh, this person wrote this blog, I trust them. It was so fascinating to see that, yes, people do read blogs. Yes, they do trust what you've written online. And if you can get it to people, you're just essentially setting your business up for success. Now, third, send your content in email newsletters or an email drip campaign. Emails, yes. So the foundational content you created is a great opportunity to push in the email drip campaign. These emails can include a variety of other resources someone might want to read before they've decided to enroll. Like I was saying earlier, you might have an email drip campaign that uses the blogs you've written to help someone walk through the admissions process. These emails could include YouTube videos you've created to give potential students an inside look at your school. Don't forget the people who have already filled out a form, because you still want to build a relationship with them. So they might not be ready to enroll yet, but when they are ready, you're top of mind because they've seen you at the front of on the top of their inbox. Now, the third option, the last one that I've got here, and that I don't have a lot on, but I think it's really cool, is record videos. So videos are huge right now because more and more people are spending more time watching things than they're reading. So there are so many video ideas that you can create, and the beauty is they don't have to be professionally produced. Some good video ideas could be record a video walking through your school, talk through the most common questions about financial aid, film a student in the process of providing a service to their guest. Amazing social proof, right? And then you can put those videos on your blogs, on your website, and even on Facebook or in an email. Always think about how to push and re-promote what you've already created. You don't need to do the same work twice. That's really the goal of a good content strategy, is that you're effectively answering questions in a way that's time effective for you and your audience. Now, the final tip that I have for you, because I see that we're getting close to the 30-minute mark, is focus on the best of the best. You don't have to do a little bit of everything to create a successful content marketing strategy. Instead, focus on the platforms you have the resources and means to do, and do it well. If you don't have time to be on Twitter to build your following, don't. Pick and choose the platforms you know your audience is hanging out, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, or even TikTok, and start filling the holes in your current creation and promotion strategy to make sure those bases are covered. So if you need any help trying to figure out where you should be going, how to promote that, we're always ready to help. I see that I have a raised hand. I don't know how to open it. Does someone have a question that they would like to leave in the chat? I've never seen the things, man. So anyway, that's the gist. Yes, I can go back a slide. I would be happy to. So, and again, this webinar will be available online. We will be putting up this recording and a blog related to this with everything that I've covered here. And of course, if you need any help, please reach out. We have amazing teams that are always ready to help. And again, I've linked someone that you can reach out to get more information, to learn how to get started with us. Cole, he's really nice and he's amazing. So does anyone have any questions before I sign off? I'm very glad to hear that you like the 30-minute sessions. I think you guys are all busy. I know we're all busy, so I appreciate not having to give an hour spiel. So thank you so much for your time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you guys have an amazing weekend and everything else.